this week's episode. Busy week in the workshop, as per usual, but not a lot of stuff that's really interesting to show you for a full episode. But it's a bit of an anniversary this week of something that happened quite a while ago. We're going to go out and chat to Craig about that in just a second. But just coming up in the next video, we've got some M2 machines from Moon Eye, some limited edition stuff. That can be ordered through our website, or you can give us a ring, 08 9495 1932. But for now, let's go chat to Craig. All right, so we said that there was a bit of an anniversary, and what it is 20-something years ago, one of the local hot rodders, Murray, started a TV show. So this is before YouTube, all that sort of crap. This was community TV.
But before we really even had car shows on free-to-air TV.
Yeah, that's right. Think Wayne's World, but car guys.
Yeah.
You know, that's the idea. It was community television.
Yep.
You know, Murray filmed it, produced it, edited it, you know, did basically everything himself.
Yep.
And then as it went on, like, we got involved and I did some presenting, Craig did presenting, and we would help him out and do cruises and all sorts of stuff. So this weekend would have been the 20th anniversary of the makeover for Murray's.
Yes. Yeah. We did a couple of episodes where we did a makeover. He had an FB Holden, which he got, and he sort of come up with the idea of let's do a one weekend thing where we made over the whole car and changed it all, and we turned it into a bit of a mild custom.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, I'm up for that. So we did it in my, at the time I had a furniture business, so we did it in my furniture workshop.
Yeah.
A bunch of guys come over and helped out, and most of it was actually done over that weekend.
Yeah.
So I'd forgotten about it. Blackie, good friend of ours and club member of ours, he now owns the car.
That's right, yeah, he owns
So
the
he
car,
mentioned it to me the other day and says, oh, you know, it's 20 years this weekend.
Yeah.
So
right.
then it we got a bit nostalgic, and we hunted down the video and we found it, and so we're just going to put that up and
Yeah.
You
So
know.
what we've got is basically we've got the first half of it, so it's about 16 minutes long. After that, I've gone up to Blackie's place and filmed where the car's at now. So he's essentially leaving the car looking the same, but giving a bit of a mechanical upgrade. So it's interesting to go back and watch this video. Murray did 330 episodes before finishing in 2007. The community TV station closed down, so that was the end of that.
But it wasn't just Perth. It went to South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales.
Yeah, it was shown in the other states.
You know.
And what happened was Murray was just at the point of trying to get it rolling in Victoria, which was the big market. That was the one we needed to get with, you know, the eastern states, and it just didn't quite happen, and it fell apart. And Murray went off and did something else, and he
was 20
now.
years. He looks like a homeless man.
Yeah.
He really does. Murray, you should shave that bloody beard off. It's shocking. But yeah, it was 20 years ahead of its time. Like, if he did that now, it probably would work, you know, with YouTube and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But he was doing it before YouTube, you know, when it was community television, and it was a lot harder, a lot more expensive.
And he was doing it on tape. So I remember he gave us cameras. We'd go to car shows in Victoria, and he gave myself and Ben Forster the camera. It was like a huge big camera, like up here. Looked like something the Channel 9 guy would run around with. And it had a tape. So we'd have to do all these tapes, and he sort of explained, and he'd have to edit the tapes. Unlike me, where I'm setting it on my phone, it takes me 5 minutes. Murray would spend a day and a half editing and all that sort of
I used
stuff.
to help him with some of the editing early on, and it was like 15 hours for a half-hour episode. It was like crazy,
So
and that's just the editing. So it would have been a lot easier now.
But there is a lot of episodes. Like, people have said, oh, we should put it on YouTube and stuff. So we're trying to work out how we could do it without burning a bunch of money, because we can't really just get Murray to give the stuff to us, but at the same time, how do you justify it? It's 330 episodes, and there'd be a whole lot of work of us converting it from tape
hell of
to
a lot of
digital,
work.
editing it out, because you've got to remember this was like half hour, then it went to 1 hour episode, and a lot of the stuff would be promoting shows that happened 20 years ago. A bit pointless now. So check out this episode.
Let us know what you reckon, and just remember that, you know, like, you might not recognise some of the people in there,
Mainly this guy.
I did have dark hair once.
Yeah, once.
And there's also, like, we watched it yesterday, and like my kids who are now this tall are in it, and they're that tall, you know, and friends who are deceased now, they came up, and it's like, it was really quite nostalgic for us. So I hope you enjoy it, and you know, let us know what you think. And
now, what does Murray say?
See on
the streets.
Keep cruising.
Yeah, that was his catchphrase that we might just steal.
Yeah, it's ours now anyway. Possession's 9/10
to the law. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
We did the story on the FB, the makeover on the FB a fair while ago. We're replaying it again this week, but we've had to shorten it back to a half-hour show. So I'll just fill you in on what we did. Murray had organised with Just Rust to have his sills replaced over a weekend a fair while ago. And what I did was went and got the car off of John from Just Rust and took it back to my workshop after John had finished doing the sills. And we got together a few other guys and we organised to do a complete makeover on the car and turn it from a bogan 70s mobile into something pretty cool. So here we go, we'll show the story and hope you enjoy it. Do you reckon you could stall him a little bit?
Stall him? What?
I've got something planned.
What are you up to?
Okay, thanks for that, John. The sills are all done. I'm just going over to WA Suspension now and have these four-wheel drive shockies taken out of it.
No worries, buddy.
Okay, thanks, mate.
See you later.
See you later. Get up later. Oh, that looks a bit better. Sitting a bit closer to the ground.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Even when we let the hoist down a little.
Yeah, that'll take it down another 2 foot. Yeah. No, that should be good. Once we do a few more bits and pieces to it, it'll be all finished then.
Yep.
Okay, here we are Friday night back at my workshop. Glenn's dropped over and we're just starting to work out a pattern for the flames.
Okay guys, John did the sills yesterday on Murray's car and this is how it's going to look. If you guys will come and give me a hand. Okay? All right. I reckon in 2 days we can knock it over. What do you think?
I think you're out of your mind.
Well, that's beside the point. I think we should go back to the workshop and get stuck into it straight away.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay guys, everybody's not here yet, so let's just start pulling a few bits and pieces off, get the interior out, the grill out, on all the side mouldings off. Everybody else should be here later and hopefully we should have about 18 people all together to get this thing done. Let's go. Let's get this seat out. Hang on, it might have been easier if we had have undone the seat belts first. Take two. Okay, this is an ideal job for Trevor, lying flat in his back. He's been removing more of the mouldings, trying to be very careful not to remove any of the 17-year-old paint underneath it. Johnny's having breakfast. Just be careful when you remove the door handles to make sure you don't lose the little circlips behind it, like I nearly did. Brock brought along a couple of sample books of Gilda's fabrics to use, and we thought we'd go with something that was pretty loud. The seats are only going to be a loose fitting cover, seat cover type of thing. It's not actually a full-on retrim. Some of the door trims are a bit harder to get off than others. He's been removing the real cool 80s
Yeah, they can all
digital
come
top.
out because we've got to put those halogen ones in.
Doesn't really fit into our 50s style that we're going for. Doug's removing the badges on the front because we're going to fill those holes. That'll be where the flame job is going to start from. Johnny's taking the headlights out because we're changing the grille. We're actually going to have shift the parking lights into the headlights. So we're going to run with some halogen headlights with the Parkers in them. Okay, yeah, we might as well take everything off the front because the flame job's going to start from the whole front, so it's easy if we have the bumpers, headlights and everything off, so just makes it less work for us masking it up. Just watch your fingers there, Ben, removing those stickers.
Come on, Trevor, what are you bloody doing?
I don't think I'm down what I want.
Brock's back and these rough cut the pieces to size for the seats. And Dougie's pulling the side trims off the front seat. The green won't look very good, so I think we might have to repaint them when we do the grille. Just removing the front indicators because we're going to change those when we put the custom grille in. Ben's still working on those stickers. Here we are removing the front aerial. Because we're putting in a couple of Frenched aerials in the rear, we'll fill that in. Rock makes it look pretty easy. The sport steering wheel is a little bit outdated, so we're going to try and find an original wheel to put on it. Yeah, that's it, get rid of it. Being a furniture maker, we don't really have too much in the way of metalworking tools at the workshop, so we've got John from Just Rust and John from Rusty Junk to come down with their tools and do all the hard stuff. Here's Johnny polishing up the speaker grill. Geez, Brock's not mucking around, looks like he's nearly got the back one done. Brock's making them as loose covers, but they're still fastened to the actual seat frame, so they'll be held on quite tight. It'll give a more finished look than just like a normal set of seat covers. The white piping's a nice contrast with the fake leopard skin. Because we rushed John a little bit on Friday, taking the car to WA Suspensions, he never had a chance to finish off the left-hand front guard. So here he is just forming up the new panel. Because we've changed the sills, we've taken out the swage line in it, so he's had to modify the bottom of the panel, the bottom of each fender, to change the swage line. And here we have Rusty John working on fitting our twin Frenched aerials, drilling a pilot hole first. Just cutting out a template to work out the size of our mesh that we need for our new grill.
Got these bloody scissors.
They're not scissors, Craig. These are scissors.
Cool. They're worse.
John is cutting off the bottom of the fender, ready to weld in the new panel that he's formed up with the new swage line.
Cool.
Bit lifted, bit shifted.
Bit shifted. Nothing I can't handle.
As you can see here, Brock's fitting the white piping to the seats. He's also using a Moon Eyes sewing machine. Must make it so fast.
It's a council car.
That's it.
Hey, have a look over there. No real leopards were injured in the filming of this, in the making of this car.
Yeah. Here we have John starting to weld up our aerial buckets for our sunken aerials. Using a set of vibra shears certainly makes it a lot easier cutting this reasonably thick gauge metal. There's our trial fit just to make sure we've cut it right. John's welding in the drain tubes on the aerial buckets. Here's John, Just Rust John, marking out the replacement panel that he's made for the bottom of the front fender. There's the back seat done. Brock's been pretty busy. Here's Rusty Junk John starting to fit the actual aerial buckets, just trimming off the excess metal there. Just doing a little bit of trimming to make sure that our new grille fits. Brock's just starting to fit the covers on the front seat now. And Cody's cleaning up the floor, ready for the new moulded car carpets. John's making a lot of noise in the background here. And we've got Des Nash round to give the motor a bit of a tune, trying to get rid of a bit of a flat spot we had in the carby there.
Cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and just when the ash falls off down your carby, can you get that? Okay.
It's hard.
Clayton's just grinding out the seams and the front guards here. What we're going to do is weld those up and then bog them over because we want them nice and smooth for the flame job at the front.
We're going to drill and tap them, just put the moon discs on.
have hammer, you shouldn't show this. I'm messing around with the wheel weight. Yeah. Just wait until after I've done this, and then it'll just slip under the wheel weight. You don't need wheel weights on anyway.
Not at the speeds that these things go.
No, that's right. I don't go fast enough for the wheels to get out of balance.
Exactly.
It's when you get up to 80 that they start vibrating. Right, build it on.
Now what we're going to do is, where do I do the other two? We're going to drill the holes in these first. John's just cleaning up around the aerial there. He's noticed the wet rag there that protects the rubber and the rear window. Ideally we would have taken these out, but because we only had 3 days, we had to cut a few corners. Also the batteries, make sure the battery's disconnected before you do any MIG welding on the car. You can see John here starting to weld in the patch panel. Make sure you let the air out of the tyres before you drill the hole. Children, don't try this at home. John just massaging the openings. Notice the position of the tongue, that's very important. Easy on that because I snapped one off on my truck. Actually, I really need a Des. Trevor's on his back again. Don't know what he's doing at the back end of the car. I think he's taken the number plate off ready for our custom one we were going to put on for Murray. Because we were using the traditional style moon type discs, it was decided that we would actually drill and tap threads into the wheels instead of just using self-tappers. This is the way it was done back in the 40s and the 50s, and it gives you a lot better finish that way. So we actually have drilled and tapped all the holes.
Beautiful job.
It's like John's just about finished that lower front fender, and the other John's just starting on the second aerial hole now.
Finish that.
There's Nash getting our timing right.
Yeah, over there.
As you can see, John's trying not to set fire to too much of the car, and Johnny decided it's time for lunch. Looks like Brock's just about finished the front seat. What's he going to do for the next 2.5 days? The drain tubes there will be connected up to pipe which will run out of a drain hole at the bottom of the boot, so we won't have them filling with water. Here I am using wax and grease remover to thoroughly clean the perforated mesh which we're using for the grill. Come on John, when's lunch? Des is just adjusting the tappet clearance. They were a bit noisy before, so just trying to make it run a little bit quieter. Saturday lunchtime, everybody's starving. Bit of a late lunch, but everybody certainly got stuck into them. Here I am just mounting up the lights we picked up earlier. They're actually going to be our new front indicators. They're going to sit behind the grill mesh. So we're just fitting those in first to make sure that we've got plenty of clearance when we fit the grill in. I think I might have a lunch drill bit in this. The 20 sensors, keep him going. This is slot. Dougie and Brock are just getting stuck into the door trims now. You know what we should do under the bonnet?
What?
We should mark, you know how on the new cars they have everything that you're allowed to touch yellow?
Are you putting them up?
Yeah.
On that side as well?
Yeah. Yeah, we should mark like, because Murray doesn't check much, so maybe just the radiator cap yellow. What else is he allowed to check?
What makes you think he opens the bonnet anyway?
Well, yeah, that's right. Does he check the dipstick or is he a dipstick?
No.
It's both. Oh, okay. He's lucky he's not here to hear this. What?
But you got some better indicator lights in there.
No, these are billet lights. Come from the billet light shop.
Yeah, right. You couldn't afford it, so they had to do it.
Yeah. Why spend money on things that aren't going to be seen?
You're only going to see them at night or...
When Murray goes around corners, and he always drives in a straight line. He never uses his bloody indicators anyway.
That's right. You don't think he's a Volvo driver?
Watch your eyes. John's just welding up the seams now,
just doing spot welds along them, and then they'll be ground back and bogged over. That'll stop the bog from cracking when the guards flex. It does help if you've got a good template to start with for making door panels, but Brock had to make do with what we had. Here's Clayton finishing the bog work around the twin aerials, making it nice and smooth. Here's our grille and our front seat side panels, which we've just painted. Johnny's playing with the headlights after fitting some Ford connections to the back of the headlights there. Just trying to design a pattern that Brock can do in the door panels. We want to go along with the flame design that we're having on the outside of the car. We want to carry that over to the inside as well. Once we're happy with that design, we trace it onto some butcher's paper, and then we transfer that to our sheet of aluminium. John's just welding on a couple of brackets underneath our sills, so that once we've painted all the sills, we can fit the side pipes, and they'll be a bolt-on, bolt-off operation. Using the trusty vibra shears again to cut out our pattern. Here's John starting to make up the first rear spat to cover up our rear wheel opening, using the shrinker there to put a bit of a curve into it.
Oh yeah, that front looks real horny.
Yeah.
Like that. You realise it's going to get covered in stone chips, but hey, it looks good.
Brock starting on our front door panels now. Here we are, just making sure that we have clearance around our window winder.
Good. Still the special glue.
Looks to be a lot of blokes standing around doing not much at all.
As you can see here, this is what the car looked like, I think, when Blackie got it. He's now undergoing a bit of a restoration. He wants to leave it looking the same as it was. He's had to fix up some repairs. This back fender's been repainted. The left-hand front fender, we had to paint it and redo the flames. But he's doing a mechanical restoration, so he's doing an upgrade, better brakes, narrow diff, brand new motor, all that sort of stuff. As we come through, you'll see here, you can see the paint's old. This did say Old Hoon, but apparently the end's fallen off, so it's just Old Who. The trim's still intact like it was. The bonnet, which will come up in a second, you'll see is still there. So he's still trying to leave the car looking the way it was and retain its heritage, so to speak, but give it a bit more oomph with I think it's a supercharged and injected Holden 6-cylinder, new gearbox, new diff, all that sort of stuff. So it'll go a lot better, but it'll still look the same way it did. And right at the very end, of course, you'll see young Jeffrey posing for the camera.